So, you know that feeling, right? You spent hours, maybe days, polishing that resume, proofreading, tweaking, obsessing over every single word. Your eyes are blurry. You hit submit, feeling this mix of like desperate hope and just sheer exhaustion. And then nothing, just silence, absolute deafening silence. It really makes you wonder what actually happens after you hit that button. Does a human even see it? Or does it just disappear into some, digital black hole? Today, we're going to take a deep dive into exactly that. We're pulling back the curtain on this thing that often feels like the invisible gatekeeper of modern hiring, the Applicant Tracking System, or ATS.
That's right. And our mission today really is to demystify what an ATS actually is. We want to expose some of those myths, the ones that cause so much anxiety. And, most importantly, equip you with practical, real strategies to navigate these systems effectively. Our main source for this deep dive is Navigating Applicant Tracking Systems, a guide to modern hiring. It really explores how these systems have, profoundly shaped the job search for everyone involved. From you feeling that silence to the recruiter who's drowning in applications?
Okay, let's unpack this then, this invisible gatekeeper. What exactly is an ATS? Because for a lot of people, it feels like a black hole where resumes just vanish.
Well, fundamentally, an ATS is just specialized hiring software. Simple as that, almost. Its purpose is to automate, streamline, and organize the recruitment process. Think of it less like a bouncer deciding who gets in, and more like a super sophisticated digital librarian, a filing system. When you submit your resume online, the ATS starts parsing it.
Parsing, what does that mean exactly?
Parsing basically means it's computationally reading and breaking down your document, like a digital scanner indexing everything. It extracts key information, your work experience, your education, skills, contact details, all that good stuff. And then it neatly organizes all that data into a searchable database for the recruiters.
Okay, like a digital librarian. I like that analogy.
Exactly. It scans your resume for specific keywords that match the job description, identifies your years of experience, checks qualifications. And what's really interesting is how much these modern ATS platforms have evolved. They're not just looking for exact keyword matches anymore. They can recognize synonyms, understand context, handle different file formats. Though, I should say, they aren't perfect. We'll definitely get into that. But they're much more nuanced now.
And the numbers really back up just how dominant these systems are. It's kind of staggering. Our source points out ATS use is nearly universal in big companies. We're talking almost 99% of Fortune 500s use one. 98.4% detected in 2024 specifically. And it's not just the huge corporations, right? The data shows 75% of recruiters, overall, use an ATS or some similar tech tool. So if you're applying online, you're almost certainly dealing with an ATS.
It's truly everywhere. Absolutely. And this brings us to one of the most widely cited but also really misleading statistics you hear all the time, that 75% of resumes are never read by humans.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that one. It's terrifying.
It is. And it causes so much unnecessary anxiety. But the reality, as our source makes clear, is that ATS systems don't automatically reject resumes. That's not really their primary function. What they do is organize and rank them. The rejection, if you want to call it that, happens when human recruiters, who are often swamped with hundreds, maybe thousands of applications for one job, they just focus their limited time on the highest ranked candidates. It's about volume and efficiency for the company, not some robot saying no automatically.
Okay, that makes more sense. It's a filter, not a judge.
Precisely. And from the employer's perspective, these systems offer huge efficiency gains. Our source notes companies using ATS see, on average, a 60% shorter hiring cycle. That's significant. And 86% of users claim it reduces their overall time to hire. So while they definitely create new hurdles for job seekers, they absolutely serve a purpose in managing these massive applicant pools efficiently.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting, I think, because that efficiency, it leads to a lot of confusion and maybe bad advice for job seekers. Let's dig into separating facts from fiction. Let's bust some of those common ATS myths we mentioned, because there's so much conflicting info out there.
Absolutely. Let's tackle a few key ones. Understanding these can be a real game changer. Okay, myth number 1. ATS automatically rejects most resumes. Like we just discussed, the reality is it's mainly a filtering and organizing tool. Human recruiters. Still absolutely essential for the final decisions. The system ranks. The human chooses who to look at more closely. It's not pass-fail.
Got it. No robot overlords yet.
Not quite. Okay, myth number 2. You must use exact keyword matches. This is a huge one. It makes people twist their resumes into knots trying to match the job description word for word. But modern ATS software is smarter now. It recognizes variations, synonyms, context. So if the job description says project management, the system probably understands program management or project coordination too. You don't need to be that literal, right? Naturally.
That's a relief, so no need to sound like a robot yourself.
Exactly. Myth number 3. Creative resumes are automatically rejected. This makes talented people ditch unique designs. Now, it is true that really complex formats, intricate graphics, tables, text boxes, can confuse the parsing. The system might struggle to pull out the info correctly.
Ah, okay, so it's about readability for the machine.
Precisely. But the system doesn't reject them just because they're creative. And here's a key insight from our source, kind of counterintuitive. Many recruiters actually prefer PDF formats.
Really? I've heard Word docs are better for ATS.
That's older advice. PDFs preserve formatting better, which often means they parse more reliably now. So looking good can actually help the system read you correctly.
Wow, okay. Good to know.
Myth number 4, ATS is only about keyword matching. Again, too narrow. Modern ATS platforms do way more. They handle candidate relationship management, interview scheduling, sometimes even onboarding. Plus analytics. They're comprehensive recruitment tools, not just search filters.
So they're managing the whole process, basically.
A lot of it, yeah. And finally, myth number 5, you need to hide keywords in white text. Or keyword stuff like crazy.
Oh, please don't do that.
Please don't. It's what we'd call a black hat technique. Trying to game the system unethically. It's unnecessary with modern ATS and, frankly, detectable. Both systems and humans can spot it. It makes you look dishonest and will almost certainly hurt your chances. Just don't do it.
Wow, okay. That definitely flips the script on a lot of the advice you hear. So if the ATS isn't this evil robot rejecting creative resumes or demanding hidden keywords, what is the biggest blind spot people still have? More importantly, what does all this mean for you listening? How do you actually optimize your resume strategically, effectively, genuinely, so it works for the machine and the human?
That really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's about working with the system, understanding its quirks, not trying to trick it. Here are some practical ways to optimize for ATS success. First up, format for success. This is where simple mistakes trip people up. Use standard, clean fonts. Arial, Calibri, Times New Roman are safe bets. Stick to conventional section headings. Experience, education, skills, summary. Avoid clever or quirky titles for these sections.
Yeah, simple.
Exactly. And like we said, save as a PDF. That insight about PDFs often parsing more reliably is key. It preserves your layout. And crucially, avoid tables, text boxes, images, columns, headers, footers, complex graphics within the main body. Those can confuse the parser and make your info unreadable to the system.
Okay, format clean, standard PDF. Got it. What about the actual words?
Right, the content strategy. This is critical. You need to study the job description. I mean, really study it. Identify the core keywords, the skills, the responsibilities they mention. Then incorporate those naturally into your resume descriptions. If there's a common acronym, use both the full term and the acronym, like search engine optimization, SEO, covers your bases.
Makes sense. Both human and machine readability.
Precisely. Always include a dedicated skills section. List both hard skills software, languages, and relevant soft skills communication, leadership, especially those mentioned in the posting. And this is huge for both ATS and humans. Quantify your achievements. Don't just say manage projects, say manage 10 plus cross-functional projects, reducing average timelines by 15% and saving $50. Numbers grab attention and show impact.
Concrete results. Always better.
Always. Then, structure matters. Use clear section headers. Be consistent with formatting dates, job titles, bullet points. Clarity and predictability help the parser. List your experience chronologically, most recent first, that's standard and what systems expect, and double, triple check your contact info is clear, accurate, and easy to find at the top. Sounds basic, but you'd be surprised.
Don't make them hunt for how to call you.
Please don't. And finally, think about industry-specific considerations. The general rules apply, but fields have nuances. Tech roles. List specific languages, tools, certs prominently. Creative positions. Balance the ATS-friendly resume with a link to a killer online portfolio. Management. Focus on leadership keywords, team size, P&L responsibility, metrics. Entry level. Highlight relevant coursework, projects, internships, transferable skills from clubs or volunteering. Translate your experience into their language.
That's really helpful breaking it down like that. Practical steps. But to get the full picture, we really need the other side of the story. How do recruiters and hiring managers actually use these systems day to day? I imagine it's not always smooth sailing for them either.
Oh, absolutely not. There's definitely a love-hate relationship there sometimes. On one hand, recruiters genuinely appreciate the help managing volume. Our source quotes Sarah, a tech recruiter at a big company, saying something like, Before ATS, I'd drown in paperwork. Now I can actually focus on evaluating candidates. It helps find needles in the haystack, specific skills that might get lost otherwise.
So it saves them time for the more human parts of the job.
Ideally, yes, but they also share frustrations. This is where human judgment becomes critical. Many recruiters mention things like, ATSs are still pretty bad at filtering based on content, leading to irrelevant profiles or even like blank pages sometimes. Marcus, a healthcare hiring manager, echoed this. He said something like, the ATS helps initially, but I still review every resume that makes it through. The system might miss great transferable skills. That's why my human judgment is essential.
So they know the system isn't perfect.
Exactly. And the data confirms they do rely on it heavily for initial filtering. Our source found over 99.7% of recruiters actively use keyword filters within their ATS. They're searching for specific skills, company names, education level, certifications, even specific projects. So while keywords aren't everything, they're still very important for getting past that first digital hurdle.
That point about missing transferable skills is interesting. Do recruiters or companies try to, tweak the ATS to catch those better? Or is it always just human override?
That's a great question. The source suggests it's often a mix. Smart recruiters do learn to refine their search criteria and filters over time. They adjust based on the quality of candidates they see. It's like a feedback loop. But yeah, human review remains crucial for catching nuances the machine might miss. But let's bring it back to the job seeker experience. What does this look like on the ground? We've talked theory, but real stories make it click.
Yeah, let's hear some of those.
Our source had some great examples. Take Maria, a marketing pro. She had this beautiful, graphic-heavy resume, looked amazing, but she got 0 responses for months. After learning about ATS parsing issues, she created a clean, text-based version, kept the fancy one for her portfolio, linked to it. She said, within 2 weeks of switching to an ATS-friendly format, I got 3 interview requests. She realized the systems just couldn't read her qualifications before.
Wow. Form over function was hurting her.
Big time. Then there's David, a software engineer. He initially thought he had to stuff his resume with every possible tech term, keyword stuffing. But it made his resume sound awkward, unnatural. He admitted, I was trying to game the system, not showcase my skills. Once he focused on integrating keywords naturally within clear achievement descriptions, his response rate shot up. Quality over quantity.
Makes sense. It still has to make sense to a human eventually.
Exactly. And one more, Jennifer. A career changer, moving from teaching to corporate training. Her teaching experience wasn't translating well, different terminology, so she learned to reframe it. Classroom management became training program delivery. Curriculum development became learning content creation. She said using that corporate language made all the difference in getting noticed by the right systems and then the right people.
That's smart. Translating your value. It really shows how much strategy is involved now. It's not just listing your jobs. To really get a grip on this, maybe a little history helps. How did we even get here? How did machines become so central to hiring?
Yeah, the evolution is fascinating and actually pretty rapid. Think pre-digital, maybe 1950s to the 90s. Hiring was very personal, very paper-based. You'd mail a resume, maybe drop it off. Recruiters manually reviewed almost everything. Slower, sure, but more direct human contact early on.
The Mad Men era of resumes.
Sort of. Then came the internet revolution. Late 90s, early 2000s. Job boards like monster exploded. Suddenly, applying was easier for candidates, advertising was easier for companies. Great, right. But it created this unforeseen tidal wave, application volume. Companies went from dozens to hundreds, even thousands of applicants per job. It became unmanageable.
Drowning in paper, rather digital files.
Exactly. And that's where the ATS solution emerged, starting in the 2000s and evolving ever since. These systems were built specifically to solve that volume problem, to bring consistency, ensure compliance, speed things up, cut costs. And now, as our source notes, by 2025, we're seeing ATS leveraging AI much more for screening, matching, even prediction. But of course, this created new challenges. Less personal connection up front, potential for bias if the algorithms aren't watched carefully, and hurdles for non-traditional candidates whose experience doesn't fit neat boxes.
So we've got this powerful evolving tool. Solves a huge company problem, but feels like a barrier for job seekers. It's clearly here to stay. What does this mean for the future, though? How do we make this system better, fairer, more transparent, more effective for everyone?
Yeah, it's definitely here to stay, and improving it is key. The main takeaway, really, for everyone involved, job seekers, recruiters, companies, developers, is that ATS is a tool. It's not, or shouldn't be, a replacement for human judgment and connection. It should enable better hiring, not just gatekeep.
So specific advice for each group.
Right. For job seekers, Accept the reality of ATS. Learn the rules, focus on substance, clear formatting, optimize, don't try to trick it, but also diversify. Network, get referrals. Don't just rely on online applications. And remember, your resume ultimately needs to wow a human.
Makes sense. Don't put all your eggs in the online application basket.
Definitely not. For recruiters and hiring managers, understand your tools. Know your specific ATS's quirks and limits. Audit your settings regularly. Are you accidentally screening out good people? Always supplement ATS screening with human judgment, especially for complex roles. Use feedback loops to get better at filtering.
Be smarter than the machine.
Use the machines smartly. For software developers and ATS providers, more transparency, please. How do these rankings actually work? Prioritize rigorous bias testing. Make fairness and equity central. Improve the user experience for recruiters. Make integrations easier for a holistic view.
Build better, fair tools.
Yes. And finally, for companies strategically, think carefully about your hiring goals. What does success look like beyond speed and cost? Invest in training your teams on using ATS effectively and ethically. Design processes that balance efficiency with human touchpoints. And measure what matters: quality of hire, retention, diversity. Is the tech actually helping you build a better workforce? The goal isn't to game the system or eliminate it, it's to use it thoughtfully. The future of hiring, even with more AI, has to be about ensuring technology serves human decision-making, helps us make better human connections, not replace them.
That's a powerful summary. Our deep dive today really shows applicant tracking systems are a permanent part of the landscape. The key takeaway for you listening seems clear. Don't fear them. Understand them. Adapt strategically. And remember, a human is still the ultimate audience. So here's a final thought to leave you with. As hiring keeps evolving, with even smarter tech coming, AI matching, maybe video analysis, who knows what's next? What steps can we all take, job seekers, recruiters, tech builders, companies, to make sure these advancements actually foster fairness, real connection, and true talent discovery? How do we prevent them from just creating new, maybe even harder to see, barriers or biases? Something to definitely mull over as you navigate your next career move.